What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I got a lot of questions in my earlier video today and even yesterday as well, and a lot of you guys were asking and were just so confused as to what is going on. What is Congress doing? When are they going to pass this infrastructure package? Will there be additional stimulus? What is happening as of right now? Well, first, I want to address where President Biden currently stands regarding stimulus and infrastructure, because as of right now, many people are just baffled as to what is Congress going to do next. What is the Biden administration going to propose and push for next? And when will we see something actually happen and go to the American people? So, right now, being that things are just a complete mess, let me try to explain what is currently going on. What we know is that President Biden now says that it makes sense to cancel unemployment benefits after the somewhat disappointing jobs reports that have come out over the past 2 months. First, we know that the current unemployment benefits will expire on September 6th. That is for the majority of the United States, or actually half of the United States as of right now, because the other 25 states, the Republican states, are going to cancel their unemployment benefits a little bit early, some as early as next weekend. So in 7 days, there will be a handful of Americans that will lose their unemployment assistance. But here's what we know. Back in May, when the April's jobs report came out, President Biden said that it made sense. He said that it makes it clear that more stimulus is needed. However, and I want to explain why this is so important. However, there were only 266,000 jobs that were added back in May, But they were expecting 1 million new jobs to be added. So they missed it, or we missed it, by 34,000 jobs? That's a huge miss. That's a gigantic miss. Well, and then last month, what we were expecting was roughly around 650,000 jobs would be added. Well, only 585,000 were added last month. So right now, that was a miss as well. So when you add up those two numbers, it's a huge miss. It is a huge miss. We are seeing roughly, we're seeing about 800,000 jobs that we should have back already, and we've completely missed those. They aren't coming back, or they're coming back too slowly. So here's what we know. Even though jobs are coming back, they're not coming back as quickly as many people expected. And it's because of this, President Biden he's making unpredictable moves that not even other lawmakers understand why he's making these moves. And just let me ask you, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you understand what President Biden is doing, what the Biden administration is proposing? Or are you just as baffled as everybody else? Because right now, it was just 2 weeks ago that President Biden and the Biden administration were proposing a $2.25 trillion infrastructure package. And last week, he came down to $1 trillion. 2 weeks ago, we knew that Democrats had 2 budget reconciliations. There were 2 bills that they could pass without one single Republican vote. And then last week, the Senate parliamentarian came out and said, no, you do not have 2, you only have 1. So this whole time that the Biden administration was planning this big, incredible, big, bold, piece of legislation, this infrastructure package, this whole time, they obviously didn't know the rules, or the rules were changed in the process. And so this is making things so difficult, not just for the American people like you and I, but for lawmakers as well, even for the Biden administration. They cannot propose something without, soon after seeing that, that's not going to work because, the Senate parliamentarian says, no, it doesn't work. Oh, we can't do that because Joe Manchin says he won't vote for it. Oh, we can't do those things because progressives say they're too small. They're never going to support it. So right now, what we know is, yes, we need more assistance. The problem is there enough people on board? What we know is that the last 3 stimulus checks have been very beneficial. Stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, rental assistance, food rental assistance to an extent because it's been very slow, nutrition assistance, all 4 of those things have done incredibly well and have made it so that the American people could survive. They could survive this pandemic. So We know that there's many lawmakers that are pushing for a recurring stimulus check. That's a monthly check. Some say monthly, okay? Let me just elaborate on this just a little bit. Some lawmakers are saying monthly. We have like 50 lawmakers that say they want a monthly $2,000 stimulus check. There's another group of lawmakers, more in the Senate, that say they want recurring stimulus checks. What's the difference between monthly and recurring? Let me explain it this way. Monthly check, you have to pay every single month. A recurring payment, let's say you have a recurring payment for, let's say Netflix, you pay every 3 months. That's recurring. You only do 4 payments a year, as opposed to 12 on the other hand. So a recurring payment would simply be, okay, we're not going to give you a stimulus check every single month. We're going to give you a stimulus check every quarter, 4 times a year, every 3 months. So that's where some are saying, well, no, we need recurring, not monthly. Monthly is too expensive to do. Let's do recurring. And so again, this is where lawmakers are starting to fight. But what we know right now is that President Biden is still going to push for a larger infrastructure package. This is something that has been stated by the White House multiple times, that President Biden isn't giving up. He is just, standing by his word that he was going to focus on, try to pass a bipartisan stimulus package first. And then he would go and look into, can we provide or pass an additional infrastructure package? Can we provide an additional package that doesn't encompass anything that Republicans supported? And that's the answer as to that question at this time is yes. It can happen, and it most likely will happen very soon. But we'll just have to wait and see. So, my expectation this week, just to give you an idea, being that everything changed once the Senate parliamentarians said that Democrats only had one budget reconciliation left. My expectation is that Democrats are going to be pushing for a much larger package right away in hopes that President Biden doesn't require them to reach bipartisan support. The other issue here is that if a budget reconciliation bill is agreed upon, okay, so they have to do a budget resolution bill. They have to pass a budget resolution, which gives them the ability to do a budget reconciliation. Again, it's very confusing. It's a bunch of wasted time, but that's the way the Senate works. So there would have to be a budget resolution passed in the House, and it would have to pass in the Senate. Then the House and Senate can both start working on the budget reconciliation, which would have to pass through the House after it goes through the committees. Then it would go through the Senate, it would go through their committees as well. And then as long as it passed both without any changes, it can go to President Biden's desk for a signature and then become law. Well, here's the problem with that. It is, first off, you see how time consuming it is to explain? Well, it's even longer to actually do and implement. So here's the issue. And this is one of the reasons why, according to many experts, they say that we should see more lawmakers push for this additional package right away, simply because of this one main reason. If we pass a bipartisan infrastructure package, let's say tomorrow, okay, we'll throw it out thin air, right? Pull it out thin air. It's going to pass tomorrow. First off, it's not. But let's just say tomorrow is, June 7th. Passes tomorrow. Great. Well, that's perfect. We get a bipartisan bill tomorrow. Awesome. Here's the issue. It's going to take months, or probably close to 2 months, maybe 30 to 60 days to get a budget reconciliation done, especially at this size. And lawmakers go on recess in August. Okay, so it's June 6th, so June 7th, okay, June 7th to the end of July. So we got so not even 60 days, we got 50 days left. Okay, I know it's not 100% accurate, but let's say 50 days. Can lawmakers get a budget reconciliation done in 50 days? Possibly, but this also brings in so many other questions because President Biden said more stimulus is needed. He said that last month, but yet this month, he hasn't mentioned stimulus. But why is that? It just makes people wonder, is stimulus not important? Even though everyone has proven that stimulus has worked, why is it not important today? Is it simply because of the infrastructure package? Because of the shifting, the stuff that we're shifting, the different types of plans, right? The goals. We don't know. What I can tell you, though, is that some experts question why Congress doesn't just make more assistance. Why don't they just pass it? We know it's needed, but why don't they just pass it? Now, here's something that I thought was very interesting. because again, this obviously deals with Congress. Currently, Congress and multiple lawmakers are fighting to more than double the investment into affordable housing through the next infrastructure package. This is something that we're seeing all the time. This is something that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer started pushing for a little bit today as well. But lawmakers say that this is a needed investment because we need to make sure we have sustainable, affordable housing for the foreseeable future. So, right now, what I can tell you is they are doing this. They are trying to more than double their investment into the affordable housing crisis because they see, just again, according to reports, lawmakers see how bad the housing crisis is going to become as soon as the eviction moratoriums expire. And again, and not just one, but once the eviction moratoriums expire and the unemployment benefits end for over 4 million people right at the beginning of July. Again, the eviction moratorium, the federal eviction moratorium, and for many states ends the end of June. So we're less than a month away. So some experts question why Congress doesn't just make the housing assistance and the funds that they already passed, why don't they just make it easier so that the American people can actually get the funds? Because as of right now, it's not easy. But again, nobody really understands how Congress works, and that's part of the problem, is being that nobody understands why they do things, the mentality or the thinking behind it. Right now, it makes things so difficult. So difficult. And something else that I want to bring up, because I thought this was extremely important, especially for any investors out there. If you invest in the stock market or in real estate or any asset, you could be hit hard very soon. It's going to be a painful, painful hit. Here's what we know. Today, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says that higher interest rates would be a good thing from the Federal Reserve's point of view. What we know is that when interest rates go up, inflation comes down. The inflation fears. The cost of products come down because it's more expensive to borrow money. Interest rates just went up. So if you're going to buy a house, you should have bought it like last month or maybe 6 months ago, not in a month or 2 months, because chances are the prices are going to, or the cost for your interest rate is going to go up, but home prices usually drop down. For every 1% we see interest rates go up, usually the prices of houses come down about $10,000. So just keep that in mind, right? Now, or they come down about 10%. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is great if we see interest rates go up and inflation fears come down. This is great because for the average person, they're not investing in a bunch of real estate and stock market and other assets. They're buying things like food, right? Paying for electricity. They just see essentials. That's what the average American does. That's perfectly fine. But right now, and this is why I think we're going to see a big push for this, and chances are we're going to see inflation. We're going to see this kind of subside very soon, again, temporarily, because right now we're seeing a global food price surge. Food prices are just insane right now. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are in this world. Food prices are really, really high. And let me know in your area, what is the cost of a gallon of milk? What does it cost? What is the cost of a gallon of gas? You probably know that. What is the cost of a loaf of bread? And what is the cost, for let's say a bag of cereal? How much is that? Right now, costs of everything are skyrocketing. And for many people, when their wages stay stagnant for years and the cost of goods keeps on increasing, at some point, once you reach that inflection point where, the cost of the items I normally buy are now exceeding my income's down here. And now the cost of your products is up here every single month. What does that mean? You have to I either need to make more money, and what most people do is, I can't afford those things, so, I got to spend less money. I can't afford to buy that insulin that I need to stay alive. So, I'm going to I can't buy the insulin, so, I'm going to get rid of it, and maybe I'll buy it next month. That's what we're seeing. So again, right now there's a lot of fears going on. There's a lot of people that are unhappy with where this economy is going, how the American people are being treated. And right now it's understandable. People on Social Security are still waiting for their promise of that $200 per month boost. People that are students right? That have student debt. They're still waiting on their promise of up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. Where are these things? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll fill you in on the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday night and Sunday afternoon, depending on what time it is where you're at. Have an incredible week as well. If you have any questions, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.